I still remember the day our garden started dying. Not slowly, not like a change in seasons, but all at once as if someone had pulled the plug on life itself. The tomatoes withered overnight, the cucumbers shriveled like they'd seen a ghost, and the squash vines lay limp, curled into themselves like they were giving up. People thought it was the drought, or maybe a broken pipe underground, or just the curse of living in a place where nothing beautiful lasts. But I knew the truth. It wasn't nature. It was sabotage. It was personal. And it was Karen. She didn't come in guns blazing or make any grand declarations. No, she did what she always does: quiet, conniving, perfectly coiffed sabotage wrapped in a fake smile and a clipboard. While kids were crying over dying sunflowers and retirees looked around like the apocalypse had arrived, Karen was out front organizing an HOA meeting about mailbox sizes and color-coordinated fences. She stood there like the queen of nothing, completely unfazed, while the heart of our community withered. And I mean that literally. See, I'm Nate. I live in a place called Maple Hollow Estates, one of those perfectly trimmed suburban neighborhoods that looks great in brochures, but feels like a prison if you're even slightly different. I'm a software developer by trade, but during the drought 5 years ago, water systems became my obsession. I built a series of rainwater tanks behind my property. Quietly, legally, privately, but not just for me. Those tanks fed the community garden 2 blocks away. A little miracle patch where folks grew food, made friends, and remembered what it felt like to be human. Nobody asked me to do it. I never made a fuss. I didn't even tell most of the neighbors where the water came from. I just ran the underground piping and let it do its thing. The city didn't need to know. The HOA definitely didn't need to know. And for years, it worked. The garden thrived. Miss Eleanor grew zucchinis longer than my arm. Single moms brought their kids to pick kale. Even skeptical old Frank started showing up to pull weeds and talk about the weather. It was the one place where everyone, no matter how different, felt rooted. But Karen noticed. She always notices when people are happy. That's when she starts twitching. A few months ago, she came by, leaned on my mailbox like she was inspecting a crime scene, and asked why my backyard looked unseasonably lush. I told her it was a microclimate. She didn't laugh, just narrowed her eyes and cited HOA Code 47B about unauthorized irrigation systems. I knew then it was only a matter of time. I put up a taller fence. She fined me. I ignored it. She doubled the fine. I added a privacy screen. Then, one morning, I stepped outside with a cup of coffee and felt Ida's silence too heavy to be natural. The tanks usually hummed when full. That day, nothing. I jogged to the back and saw the gauges, flat zero. Every single one. 9,000 gallons gone. Just gone. At first, I thought maybe a pipe burst. I checked every valve, every connector, every line. Nothing. Then I saw a lock on the main outlet valve was cut clean through. No rust, no wear, just one brutal snip. My stomach dropped. I sprinted to the garden. It looked like a battlefield. Mrs. Eleanor was sobbing. Little Max was asking if someone poisoned the plants. People were gathering, panicked and helpless. And then she arrived. Karen, in her HOA golf cart, wearing aviators that caught the morning sun like a villain out of a spy movie. She waved cheerfully and started handing out flyers about new HOA rules regarding lawn ornaments. Not one word about the garden dying behind her. I wanted to scream. I wanted to drag her into the dirt and make her explain. But I didn't, because I knew how this worked. Karen would lie. She'd twist. She'd weaponize bylaws like daggers. I needed proof. That's when I remembered Owen, the beekeeper behind my house. His rooftop hive had a solar cam installed to monitor raccoons. It covered the edge of my yard. I biked over, told him everything. He didn't say much, just raised an eyebrow and said, "Let's check the buzz feed." There she was. 2:13 a.m. Hoodie, gloves, bolt cutters, crouching by the tanks like she was auditioning for a heist movie. She twisted the valve, waited, then vanished into the night. Owen whistled and handed me the footage on a thumb drive without a word. But I didn't go to the police. Not yet. I went to the people. I stood in the middle of the dying garden, climbed onto a bench, and told them the truth. That the garden didn't survive on miracles. It survived on rainwater I had collected and shared. That someone had cut the line. That I had the video. Silence. Then shock. Then anger. Not at me, her. People started coming forward with their own stories. Karen had fined a veteran for flying a slightly crooked flag. She shut down a lemonade stand because the kids didn't have a permit. One woman said Karen complained her wind chimes were emotionally disruptive. It was time. The next HOA meeting was Thursday. I showed up early with printouts, witness statements, and a backup hard drive. Karen greeted everyone like a pageant queen. Until I stood up, declared I had evidence of HOA misconduct, quoted her own bylaws about community harm, plugged in the footage. The room went still. On screen, Karen, bolt cutters, draining life out of the tanks. A dropped coffee cup. Karen tried to lunge for the laptop, but I blocked her. The board demanded she sit down. I laid it out. Legal permits, pipe diagrams, photos of the garden pre- and post-incident, testimonies from residents. I didn't accuse. I didn't yell. I let the evidence speak. Karen tried to pivot, calling the tanks visual blight and accusing me of illegal distribution. I showed city permits. She claimed the garden wasn't HOA property. I handed over a letter from the HOA itself encouraging its use. Then came the nail. An email from Karen dated 2 days before the sabotage, found in a folder by a board member who'd had enough. If Nate won't take down those eyesores, I'll handle it myself. No one needs to know. Motion to suspend Karen pending investigation? Passed unanimously. She stood, trembling, called it a witch hunt, then stormed out. But she didn't go quietly. The next morning, I got a city notice. Someone had filed a complaint against me for illegal water siphoning. I wasn't surprised. I welcomed the inspector, made him coffee, showed him the whole setup. Permits, maps, video. He raised an eyebrow at the photo of Karen in full sabotage mode. Said quietly, I used to live in an HOA too. Seen this power trip before. But here's where it turned. His inspection triggered a secondary check of the HOA's own lines. That's when they found it. An illegal underground pipe, leading from the HOA maintenance supply directly into Karen's backyard. Her decorative roses, watered with stolen city water. In a drought. I didn't leak it, but the story did. Local news ran it. HOA president accused of water theft during drought. Photos of the tanks, the cut lock, the dead garden. The video went viral. Karen tried to claim cyberbullying, but the board turned on her. Members resigned. And then came the lawsuit. Turns out, tampering with water infrastructure during a declared drought emergency? Not just an HOA issue. It's a civil violation. The former mayor even showed up to testify. Said our garden was a model of urban resilience. Karen sat in court with a pearl necklace and a smug look until the city attorney dropped the bomb. A forged maintenance report, fake technician name, perjury. Her lawyer went pale. The judge ruled, stripped of all HOA authority, fined, barred from leadership for 5 years, and sentenced to 50 hours of community service. Guess where she got assigned? 3 weeks later, she showed up in a neon vest and gardening gloves, head down, assigned to weed the very plot she killed. I didn't say a word, just handed her a trowel. The garden, though, it bloomed. With help from the city and some unexpected donors, we expanded. Added more tanks, solar pumps, a compost hub. The local school sent students to learn about sustainability. Someone carved a plaque that read, rooted in kindness, watered by unity, grown through struggle. At the reopening, I didn't give a speech. Just thanked them for believing in something small. A little girl pointed at a new strawberry and shouted, "They're back." And they were. Karen? She faded. Her email stopped. Her power vanished. And the garden? Well, it stood taller than ever. So if you're watching this and wondering what justice looks like when no one else is watching, it's not always loud. Sometimes, it's a strawberry growing where sabotage once lived. Let me know in the comments, what would you have done if your community was under siege by someone meant to protect it? Should Karen have been forgiven, or was that trowel justice enough? Share your thoughts below, and if you believe in growing something good, hit like, subscribe, and plant your own legacy. It might just outlive the rain.